Tradition. You can't buy it. It's earned the hard way over decades and eras. On the field, on the road, in the mud. With guts and with grit and firm belief that today could be our day. The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is back. Still alive, still kicking, the oldest prize in American soccer. 96 teams, part-timers to major leaguers. Survive and move on, lose and you go home. So we call all underdogs, dreamers and believers. And we ask you again, one simple question. Are you up for the cup?
Mother Nature delayed one game here in the first round of the 110th edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, but it gives us a standalone game here this evening as Flatirons FC hosts Union Omaha. Happy to have you with us for it on U.S. Soccer's YouTube alongside MLS veteran Ricky Lopez. I'm Joe Malfa. Take a look at the dates to come. This is going to be the end of round one here tonight. Come back April 1st, April 2nd for round two. The schedule is set. Whoever wins this game will go on to face Des Moines Menace in the second round. Flatirons and Omaha both under the USL umbrella. Flatirons from USL 2 and Omaha of USL League 1. The reigning champions of USL League 1 looking to make another deep run here in Open Cup.
This Union Omaha side and Dominic Casciato have done a fantastic job at staying true to their identity. He knows exactly who they want to be on and off the ball. So you expect this Union Omaha side to take this game to Flatirons. I do think 10 to 15 minutes really important for the USL League 1 side.
And on the other side, for this Flatirons group, it's an opportunity. It's their first ever trip here in Open Cup.
You enjoy it, right? You take every moment and you enjoy this experience. I do think for Flatirons, right, you want to be defensive-minded. That's how you need to start this game, because if you do that, maybe frustration starts to set in, and you can take chances and make it a little bit more transitional. Really good chance for Flatirons FC here on the road.
And Flatirons coming into this one again, playing their first ever Open Cup, mostly comprise this lineup of college kids right now in between seasons.
I think for Flatirons FC, Samuel Hamilton, number 12, he's going to play centrally. He needs to be really good at dictating the tempo and providing some coverage, because on the other side for Union Omaha, they have so much attacking talent on that front line, but stalwart of Kallman, Milanese, and Holt as that back three.
And we are underway here in Colorado. Flatirons from left to right in their black, and Omaha from right to left in the white. Omaha last year, Ricky, another deep run. Got to a spot in the round of 32 against Sporting Kansas City. Lost in extra time. Round 3 the year prior, lost on the road against St. Louis City in what was a record crowd there in St. Louis. And then in their first ever Open Cup back in 2022, made the quarterfinals. 2 cup sets along the way over Chicago Fire and Minnesota United before losing to Sporting Kansas City in the quarter. So they're hoping to replicate that once again. This game a day later, it was difficult for Omaha getting out of Omaha. Blizzard came through.
Clear kick.
So I have this clock on the left side right here.
Hold here. Stay up. Stop dropping. Up. One covered. First line.
Omaha coming off a loss in their opener in USL League One. Lost 3-0 on the road against Greenville Triumph. Trying to get back on track here before they get back into their USL League One schedule. Have this weekend off as well. Next week go on the road against Tormenta.
So you have to think, if you are Dominic Casciato, the motivation factor is something that comes into play here. Come competition, amateur side or not, every time you walk across that white line, you need to perform to the best of your abilities. So expect this Union Omaha side to be full of confidence and to put some pressure on Flatirons early on here.
Flatirons tonight coming out in what was listed as a 3-1-4-2, and according to their staff, they're going to play their way. They're not coming into this trying to shy away in any capacity. Like you see sometimes the amateur sides in these opening round games sit back, pick their moment. They want to play. They don't really have much of a training camp right now. They just sort of sprung into action, as we often do see these teams on a couple weeks' notice here for Open Cup. But they feel that they have the continuity in the group from what they saw last year to now to come out here and play their way, play properly.
So you have to think fitness plays a factor in this game as well. For Flatirons, obviously, like you mentioned, Joe, not having the routine training sessions. A lot of these players, quote unquote, have a 9-to-5, a real job, versus the Union Omaha side that their job is to stay fit over a week of 6 weeks of preseason, already a League One game.
Played in, early chance here for Omaha, and it's just wide. Mehdi Wamri looked like he almost leaned his shoulder into it. Could not quite get to it.
It's a fantastic ball in from a wide part of the field for Union Omaha. Left side of your screen, Wamri, he just peels off the shoulder of Andrews. He never sees him. But as this ball comes across, the striker just needs to run onto it and let it hit you. If you do, it's in the back of the net. What an opportunity that's missed for Union Omaha early on here.
Minutes into this one, and it doesn't look like Flatirons are going to shy away from having any level of possession. How often do you and I, and we saw it this week in the first round, it's the pro side usually dominating early on, keeping the lower division side on their heels, and here come the Owls of Omaha, winning it high up the field. Amish plays wide. Gallardo, Amish. Aaron Gomez in for Max Schneider. Over the top, again looking for Wamri. All the way through. Charlie Ostrom is unable to keep it in.
So it is outdoor kick. Visit the food truck, the Crock Spot Food Truck. Stop by for your favorite food at the Crock Spot Food Truck at the concourse. Visit the food truck for more information.
Roland Hernandez Jr., the number 10 for Flatirons. They want to play through. Jr. has an opportunity here to showcase himself. Plays at Northwest College, and a lot of college talent here in the ranks for Flatirons. We saw that last year. Helped Vermont Green on their way to a couple of magical moments in Open Cup, the USL 2 side, and then a group that was mostly comprised of University of Vermont players got back together in the fall and won the College Cup. A lot of CSU Pueblo, Colorado Mesa University. Those are the two colleges you see mostly comprising this roster.
I think he's going to be the key for this Flatirons FC side. Sam Hamilton, player that had fantastic collegiate career in Denver, went on to play for the Rapids as well. So you have to think he needs to be really clever at, number one, dictating tempo, but also providing some coverage, because this front line for Union Omaha has so much talent. Looking at Aaron Gomez, who likes to operate in those half spaces, exactly where you want Sam Hamilton to be within their defensive structure.
Free kick on the way for Flatirons.
Wednesday was the big day for cup sets around Open Cup. Only one on Tuesday. Quieter night last night as well. Irons trying to add one more to the list, and it's another amateur side in name only. That would be the team waiting for the winner of tonight's game, Des Moines Menace. A USL 2 side, an amateur side, but a side comprised mostly of MLS retirees at this point. So an interesting possible matchup in the second round for either of these two opponents. Free kick looped in. Olin Jr. is closest to it. Picked back up by Amish. Trying to orchestrate the attack through Wamri. Amish chasing. Luke Smith cuts him off and shields it out.
Really good recovery run from Smith. Amish has really nicely to continue his run off of Wamri. But 9 minutes in, you just see this game is being played at a very high tempo.
Arnold gives it away. Scarth. Hamilton looking through. Played back by Joey Joyner. Orlin Jr.
Well done.
They're playing.
Well done.
I don't mean for our surprise tone to come off as dismissive of this group. It's just, again, we don't typically see traditionally, Ricky, in this tournament, the lower division side coming out looking this comfortable, this crisp, and that's just a matter of situation. Again, they're coming in without a preseason. They're coming in on a couple weeks' notice, and they won't reconvene for another about month and a half, 2 months before their USL 2 season begins. So they're just dropped in and expected to perform at a high level. You see a lot of sloppiness typically. You see them just sort of rely on simple football, sitting back, defending, countering when you can. You don't see them put it on the deck and look to play like this.
And it's interesting because you and I have the ability to speak with every single coach, whether it is a quote-unquote professional team or amateur side, and they all say the same thing. We want to play the game. We want to play our game, which is we want to be on the front foot. We want to be attacking-minded. We want to be aggressive. The list goes on. But to actually be successful in doing that, especially for an amateur side, really impressive. Through 11 minutes, dealing with the pressure of Union Omaha, very comfortable on the ball. So if you are Levi Rossi, you have to be really pleased with how your boys have started this match. On the other side, Joe, for this Union Omaha side, a bit sloppy to start this match. Haven't been able to get any sort of rhythm, good move in the Central Park.
Yusuf Adan dispossessed, recovered again by Flatirons. Founded back in 2017, formerly known as Colorado Rush SC. Been playing in USL 2 since 2020. Twice made the USL 2 postseason, 2022, and then again last year, lost in the conference quarterfinals against FC Tucson. One of 9 teams that didn't have to come through qualifying from USL 2, simply invited by Open Cup, accepted that invitation, and showing early on that they belong here in this one against Union Omaha. Omaha last year beat Western Mass Pioneers in their opening round, then Des Moines Menace, and then beat El Paso in a shootout before they went on to the round of 32 and lost to Sporting Kansas City.
A chance for A rematch, Des Moines Menace Union Omaha.
It's been a common matchup. They didn't meet in 2023, but they also met in 2022 in the opening round. Omaha beating Des Moines both times. So last year they did face the Des Moines team that had a couple of MLS retirees on it, but not nearly the 2015 MLS
All-stars.
Best 11 that it is now. Dax McCarty, Bradley Wright Phillips, Sasha Kleshtin, Matt Hedges, AJ De La Garza. Who am I missing?
Mikey Ambrose, Bradley Wright Phillips, you said him?
I said BWP.
Dax?
That was the first one I said.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Ozzy Alonso, that was the one that I was missing. There we go. So it is quite the outfit they have. They struggled through their match in the opening round. A pair of Sasha Kleshtin penalties got them through in the pouring rain.
Did you see those
and 30-mile-an-hour winds. So they found a way, I guess, relying on experience to get through. It was interesting seeing some of those players take to social media afterwards and lament the weather they played in, almost wishing they had it, but hopefully the weather better in round 2, and will it be Flatirons or Omaha? A free kick coming for the home side as they again found some success in the attacking half.
Just notice how exposed this Union Omaha side is from front to back. Really clever here from Joyner. His first touch gets away with him, baits in Milanese over the top.
And beverage options, Bolero Sitters offer a range of activities for everyone to enjoy. For more information,
Breaking the action here for the Ramadan fast break, 14 minutes in. Glad to have you with us here this evening once again with Ricky Lopez-Espin. I'm Joe Malfa. Final matchup of the first round of Open Cup here. 64 teams open things up here in round number 1. 32 amateur sides, 32 pro sides. 96 total teams will take part this year. 95 total matches to be played. Second round is just simply the 32 winners of round 1. No new teams will enter yet in the next round. And beyond that, you'll have another swath of USL Championship clubs come in. Following round, you'll have the MLS clubs come in. So you'll have in rounds 3 and 4 more clubs entering the fold. Round 2 will just be the winners of this round. Look back at some of the scores that we've seen. Yesterday here in Open Cup on the Thursday, it was again a lighter day in terms of the cup sets. It was that last one with New York beating FC Cincinnati in a shootout that really stood out. The heavy cup set day was Wednesday. A couple of teams that really stood out though yesterday, some valiant efforts for the lower division amateur sides. Long Island Rough Riders went right toe-to-toe with Charlotte Independence. But the big upset day was Wednesday. You and I part of a couple of those tight games. El Farolito got through again. So Wednesday was the heavy cup set day. Yesterday, mostly true to form. New York Pan Cyprian Freedom's the only cup set yesterday.
Some cool names, Soda City.
It's one of the best parts of the early
awesome.
round. The kits, the names. You had the Appalachian side that lost, but had the Bigfoot kit.
That was awesome.
That was peak Open Cup. Peak Open Cup.
Not the third free kick that we've seen from Flatirons. And it's been a quality service.
Space here through the middle. Adon. Poor effort at a clearance. Picked back up by Orland Jr. Wide for Joey Joyner. Shot for an offside. And it's out of play for a goal kick.
Match out, goal kick.
But again, if you're Union Omaha, very sloppy, not having the ability to clear that ball to afford Flatirons a second bite at the apple. Yes, not clean enough in the end. But would be really interesting just to hear Dominic Casciato, what he was able to say and the message to his side at that break.
Dom Casciato not happy, of course, with the opener this season, losing 3-0 to Greenville. Feels they had the pieces again this year, Omaha, to have another run at it. They've been the epitome of success in this USL League One over the last couple of years. 3-time regular season Shield winners, 2-time champions. With the double this past year and back in 21.
Full stadium though, huh?
Great view here.
Yeah.
Mountaintops in the background. Nice to see no snow, though, if you're Omaha, because, again, that's what delayed this from yesterday to today. Blizzard in Omaha delayed them getting out here to Colorado. I feel like 9 times out of 10 this time of year, we would have been more concerned that the blizzard conditions would have been impacting Colorado than Omaha. Back in your collegiate neck of the woods.
Go Jays.
Both players go in, and it's Joyner who comes away with it for Flatirons. Joyner. Osifa Dunrin to the end line. Osifa Dunrin almost got to the end of it.
But again, first to every 50-50 ball, this Flatiron side winning the effort game against this Union Omaha side. This game has been played in their attacking third. Now, how clean can you be once you get in and around that 18-yard box? The ball needs to move really quickly and really run in behind this Union Omaha side, because most of your attack has been in front of them.
It was great chatting with Flatiron's head coach ahead of this game, Levi Rossi. We had asked him to just give us a couple of guys who really have stood out in this organization, whether from their college ranks or what they expect them, some academy players who are in this side as well. And he ended up going down the list of all 18 players who are going to be on the roster today. And you could sense the enthusiasm and passion in his voice that he just didn't want to single anybody out because he felt so strongly about every player in this program. And that's what you love to see. It's why they had success in USL 2 last year. It's why they're here in Open Cup. That passion from top down at this club, it shines through, and it's showing in their play right now with the confidence and the swagger to be putting it on the deck and playing through Omaha here. Not just sitting back again like you'll see a lot of these amateur sides do in this round.
But also off the ball as well, Joe. How many times have we seen them step in unison, drop, and really compact within their structure? It just tells you how confident they are and what they want to be on all phases of the game, and that's going to be a foul.
Free kick, Union Omaha.
Omaha last year, 15 wins, 4 losses, 3 draws. And their run to a title, and then again, getting through to the round of 32 in Open Cup. Beat 2 amateur sides, then beat El Paso at home in a cup set, the USL Championship side. Though some might argue, the way things went for El Paso last year and for Omaha, that it wasn't really an upset.
Just needs to be quicker. You break that first line of pressure, too many touches, and now notice how all 11 players for Flatirons are behind the ball. Really difficult to break down now if you're Union Omaha.
Big player to replace for Omaha this year, Pedro Dolabella. Runner-up for Player of the Year in League One last year. Also, veteran Steven Dos Santos and the goals that he brought. Veteran striker who's had so much success in USL Championship and turned out to be Omaha's all-time leading scorer after the last couple of years he had here. So replacing that, but bringing in the likes of Mehdi Wamri. Prosper Kasim was not in the 11 here tonight. Kemi Amish as well. Replacing in goal, Rashid Nuhu as well with Cole Jensen. Tonight, Jensen getting the start.
I think one player that you have to look at in this Union Omaha side roster is Joe Gallardo. Yes, with all the talent in the world, but now you need a little bit more productivity, more goals, more assists, because he has everything that you can ask for as a winger, as an attacking player. But you want to see him put a little bit more numbers and just shoulder some of that responsibility that Dolabella and Dos Santos have left.
Let me be clear, Rashid Nuhu still a part of the roster, not replaced by Cole Jensen. Just meant to say that tonight Cole Jensen is in goal, so one of the familiar faces and stalwarts at this club, not going anywhere, but Cole Jensen, another strong goalkeeper to have brought in to give Rashid Nuhu an opportunity to have some time off, to not have to start every game and have to carry this team in the ways he did at times last year. Jensen, terrific collegiate career, drafted at the MLS level. He's been the third keeper for Inter Miami the last couple of years. Main starter in Next Pro. Should be a good move for him here as well. Omaha starting to grow into their possession a bit. Flag comes up on Isidro Martinez.
Offside. Union Omaha free kick, Flatirons FC.
Left side of your screen really close as Jackson tries to step off. That's really close. But give credit to Jackson just to understand the situation and play Gomez offside. Obviously no VAR here in Open Cup.
Took advantage of it though, went quick, direct the other way, and now a corner for Flatirons. So from what could have been danger on the other end to danger at this end now for Flatirons.
It's on auto, so when I bring it back to the right, it'll go down. I'm trying to mess with it, but yeah, I'm trying.
Luke Smith standing over it. Looks like a set play here for Flatirons, and everybody lined up at the penalty spot, set to break any which way. And for the signal and the approach from Smith. He starts his move, they start their move. Corner is looking all the way on the backside of the box. And it's out for a throw. Gearing up for a long throw. Whipped in toward the 6, headed away. Brent Coleman floated back in. Joyner lurking. Omaha clearing. Long run for Amish. Gets there. Amish cutting in. Gets his defender to leave his feet. Now played in back post. It hit the crossbar. Slight touch as well from the keeper, Mateo Conchi, and out for a corner.
First time that we've seen Omaha play a little bit more transitional. Amish does a nice job of cutting this back across and letting the play develop. And the player that I just highlighted, Joe Gallardo, picking and choosing your times when to join the attack from that central location. A player that has a lot of ability within his ball striking technique. These are really important situations as well for Omaha, especially with Milanese, Brent Coleman, how dominant they are in the air.
Corner whipped in, headed clear powerfully by Sean Andrews. Coleman, a veteran player on this back line for Omaha.
Creighton alum.
I was wondering how long it would take you to point that out. You always give me grief for when I point out University of Maryland alumni. I'll give you credit. It took you 26 minutes for you to mention that for Coleman.
You thought I was going to say minute 1?
I've gotten within 2 minutes sometimes when it's a Maryland alum. Flicked on by Amish, loose in front, the header saved, loose still and cleared further away. Not out of the danger yet, and the goal comes 27 minutes in for Omaha. Flatirons struggle to clear their lines, and the USL one side is put in the lead by Aaron Gomez.
Just too lazy, pedestrian-like for Flatirons. Give credit to Ostrom. He just goes out and attack it. And as his ball falls down to Gomez, just rocks this thing. Laces down, head through the ball, just smacks it. No chance for Conchi. Close in proximity. Put on target, you give yourself a chance, and maybe against the run of play, but Union Omaha take the lead here.
Flatirons huddle up here to have a conversation. And you wonder what's being said in that huddle, to your point, almost against the run of play. And that might be a fair way to put it. Flatirons had been the better of the two sides in that way. A lot of control, but Omaha strikes, and that's what we've come to know for this Omaha team the last couple of years under Dom Casiato and the success they've had in League One. He's a two-time, or back-to-back, I should say, USL One Coach of the Year. They're efficient. When they get those opportunities, they're lethal. They always seem to make them count in the biggest moments. Sure, they'll have a blip on the radar here and there like they did in their opener, losing 3-0 to Greenville as they start to ramp up to full form. But that's, I think, their superpower. It's just their consistent ability to make you pay and take a mile when you give them an inch.
There's a reason why they won USL League One. Just so ruthless in both boxes when they take a chance. They're lethal. So much experience, so much quality for Dominic Casiato. They know how to punish teams. It's defending 1-on-1 for Flatirons that just goes to the wayside, unable to attack the ball. Both players are getting caught kind of in a bit of confusion. And Ostrom just goes out and attacks it, falls to Gomez, and he makes no mistake about the finish.
Now whipped it again, and clear by Jackson. Seems like it's given Omaha some confidence as well. Aaron Gomez had a lengthy career stint with El Paso in USL Championship, where Dom Casiato coached him in his time as an assistant before taking the Omaha coaching job. Gomez, a key figure here with the Owls.
You mentioned it in one of our earlier games in this first round, Joe. As for an amateur side, really important not to let this one-goal lead or deficit get away from you. How many times have we seen a one-goal deficit turn into a 2-3? Because now you have to go out and chase the game. You have to approach it a little bit different, and doing that, you can leave yourself vulnerable going back the other way. So the next 10 minutes, really important for Flatirons not to get stretched out.
Yeah, that conversation was prevalent earlier this week when you and I had the match between Columbus Crew 2 and New York Renegades on the amateur side. Renegades had the better of the first half for the most part. About 40 minutes in, I believe at the time they were out shooting Columbus 6-1. All of a sudden, Columbus scores in the 44th minute to make it 1-0, and they doubled down, scored in stoppage time in the first half to make it 2-0. They ended up running it up in the second half because at that point, to your point, Renegades had to come out of their shell, completely different game. Flatirons have to make sure they don't meet that same fate here. As soon as 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 5. Sifa Dunran.
But Flatirons have had success when they play centrally into Joyner. He pops the ball off, and then they have runners from wide parts of the field. Martinez and Schneider for Union Omaha are getting caught too high. It's about the 4th time that we've seen one pass take both of those central midfielders out of the game.
Wamry waiting for it. Andrews heads clear. Quiet for Cole Jensen so far. Fields this one with his feet.
Good read.
Given away. Scarth. Can they go quickly now? Joyner.
You need to play quick. You need to play positive. You force a turnover. Milanese really sloppy. Union Omaha all out of position. You need to take advantage of it if you are Flatirons.
Dozen minutes remaining here in this first half. With the voice of U.S. Open Cup, Ricky Lopez-Espin. You've been busy this week, Ricky.
I have been busy. I'm not the voice.
Well, with Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malfa. Glad to have you with us here for the capper of the first round. Flatirons and Union Omaha. Lone goal so far. Scored by Aaron Gomez in the 28th minute. 1-0. Flatirons had the better of the play before then, though no shots to show for it. 3 shots, 2 on target for Omaha. All of those came in the flurry that led to the goal. Adan. Cut out. Well read defensively by Holtz. Gave it right back. Could see a card here. Schneider came through. It looked like a referee was reaching to his pocket initially, and Flatirons clamoring for it, but it seems like Schneider let off the hook.
I think they do have an argument. The way that Schneider comes into it, studs are exposed. Yes, he pulls out at the last second, but there is a little bit of contact. I think he's really lucky not to see yellow here.
I'm with you.
We're getting along today, huh?
So far.
Okay. 35 minutes in, I'll take it.
34 minutes in, don't rush it.
5.
Well, in the context of our conversation, you could still be unkind to me in the next 45 seconds, which would negate all of what you said. Joyner looking through.
I'm never unkind to you, Joe.
Not on air, at least.
Oh, stop. now you're paying me to be a bad guy.
Gallardo looking ahead for Wamry. Held his run that time. Flag would have stayed down. Cut out instead by Andrews. He spurts through it. He's been a spark so far in the early going for Omaha.
Dom Cachado requires so much responsibility when you play that wing back position. Amish has done a fantastic job. When he gets into that final third, you see the quality coming out within, but also the work rate to drop off and help Milanese through the defensive side of the game. Bit of an awkward coming together. I think Joyner maybe just catches the heel of Milanese. No ill will, but still a foul.
Gallardo stands over it now for Omaha. Holt. Gomez, the goal scorer. Just so disciplined and well regimented under Dom Casciato. It's really allowed them to succeed in a multitude of different situations. Back to that in a second. Here they go again on the break. Omaha fed in front, cleared by Jackson. Whether it's playing at home on their small pitch, the converted baseball field where they have to be more direct and more compact, or it's going on the road to places with a full-size field and have to be more expansive, it can beat you in a number of different ways, and it all comes back to just being attached to their principles at their core. And well regimented under Coach Casciato. Take a deflection here. Scary for a goalkeeper. Jensen has it. First shot on goal, it'll go down as for Flatirons. You can just see it in those moments, how quickly they regain their defensive shape. So disciplined, this Omaha side.
That's why the first couple of minutes, you and I looked at each other and kind of confused. Very uncharacteristic start from you in Omaha. But since then, got a bit more comfortable, understanding what this game is going to be all about. And have probably been the better side since scoring that goal.
Some of Flatiron's possession has died down as well. They enjoyed early on.
I just want you to notice once Flatirons gets on the ball, especially when they're building out of their back, how aggressive Schneider and Martinez have been. So if you are Flatirons, Sam Hamilton right now, your first look needs to be centrally. Take this ball exactly. Now look how this game opens up.
Joyner. Just don't have the numbers, Flatirons, in that moment as they break up the field. You can see there's 4 blue jerseys and they're staring down the barrel of 7 white jerseys. There's almost never a numerical advantage. And now given away at the back. Wamry picks it up. Ostrom.
Well, you pointed it out. Once you in Omaha, really disciplined, getting into their shape at a very high pace. But if you do catch them out, that's when you need to go. That's when the ball needs to work at a very high speed.
For another Omaha corner. Conchi has been tested early on, made a couple of saves in the build-up to Omaha's goal. Just one too many shot that came his way in the end.
Take it back and see, Kate.
Two-time first-team All-American playing at the NAIA level at Grace College, Matteo Conchi. Coming over from Italy. Goalkeeper watches this corner sail to his back post and now headed out and away.
High goal kick.
I think that's Gomez on the receiving end of it. Need to head this back across where it came from and just put it into the mixer and see what happens. An interesting question asked to me, Joe, yesterday. Obviously, this game was supposed to be played yesterday, Thursday. I got asked, if you are on the amateur side of player and you have a quote-unquote a 9 to 5, right? You probably take the day off to be able to make your game and you're able to travel. Do you go to work the next day? Yes or no?
I mean, you might have to. It might not be an option.
I said no. I take the day off.
I try to, yeah, ideally.
And then my partner, Flatirons, he was like, "What if you lose the game?" And
I said, I to get back to work. And
you go back to work. I take the day off. How cool is it to play against a professional team? Take a 3-day weekend. Right?
You would take a 7-day weekend if you could.
Give me a boat, give me a sun, give me the sun, and I am a happy Ricky.
You would slam open your car door with no regard for what's around
Stop.
you. You'd get back to your apartment. You'd kick your feet up.
That's been a message that we've continued to receive from a lot of the coaches at the amateur side, just how cool it is. And the Open Cup gives you the opportunity to play against professional players, professional organizations. And as a person or as a player, as a team, all you can ask for is an opportunity. So what a fantastic thing that the Open Cup has been able to do.
Last year we saw it. Denver Benson of El Farolito, who's back again and scored again for El Farolito the other night. He got signed by Central Valley Fuego of USL League One after he scored against them and helped eliminate them. He's scored 4 goals in 13 games in League One last year. Now this year, instead of signing with the team right away, went back to El Farolito, played again in Open Cup. They got through. Scored. And we'll see what the next opportunity might be that comes his way, but it's a launching pad for so many players here in this tournament.
Just needed more of a presence at the number 9 position for Flatirons. Joyner drops off a little bit deeper, so that's when if you're Adon, you need to occupy that space that he just vacated. No real challenge for Holt, Coleman, or Milanese thus far.
Slip through for Scarth. Free kick on the way for Flatirons. You mentioned a moment ago Adon in the build-up there. He's a perfect example. Yusuf Adon is from Omaha, Nebraska. If Dom Casiato and crew like what they see from a player staring right across from him on the field tonight, that seems like a match made in heaven there for an opportunity for a player like Yusuf Adon. On the brink of turning 21, Laramie County Community College player. That's the type of player who, if he shows out well tonight against
100%.
his hometown club, won't be long before he gets a call. Closing in on the end of this first half. Free kick whipped in, loose in front. Jensen was waiting, and he paid for it.
There for the save and the cover is Jensen.
It's a good ball in from Smith. And as this ball pops out, I think that's Jackson. He has every right to go for it. But once Jensen picks it up, that's when you need to pull off if you're an attacking player. You can see the innocence coming out from Jackson after the fact. But always a dangerous play.
Minutes tacked on at the end of this first half.
Press box is a throw-in for Flatirons.
When I say,
Need to connect that. If you can play into the feet of Joe Gallardo, now you really have some success on that far side.
Joyner. And there's the whistle to end the first half. It was communicated our way. There would be 4 minutes initially. Referees changed their minds. 2 is all we played. So after the first 45, it's Omaha up 1-0 on Flatirons, who came out swinging, but Omaha found their rhythm.
I think you need to start the second half just like you started that first half if you are Flatirons, a little bit more aggressive. And for Dominic Casciato, how quickly can you get that second goal? Because if you do, now you have a lot of success as the game starts to open up.
Flatirons hoping for one final cup set in this first round. Omaha looking for what would be a third date in their club history with Des Moines Menace in the second round. 45 down, 45 to go. We'll be back with more from Colorado in a moment.
You can pick the ingredients for your own bowl at the Crock Spot Food Truck. Kids, if you'd like to go out and play during halftime, feel free to do so. You can go out and play on the field.
Just about set to get things going once again here between Flatirons FC and Union Omaha. Final match of the first round of the 110th edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. A 1-0 lead for the Owls. We take a look back at highlights from that first half. Early on, Ricky, it was Flatirons who was really in control, but Omaha grew into things and found the lead.
As soon as Omaha got into rhythm, now they started to get players into more dangerous opportunity from wide areas of the field. You just look at the quality and the movement for this USL League One side. Joe Gallardo, Amisha has been fantastic on that far side, and you knew it was always going to be one of their special playmakers that make the difference, especially in around that 18-yard box. This ball comes across, give credit to Ostrom, stays with it, and then Aaron Gomez just smacks this thing. No chance for the goalkeeper whatsoever. Just tattoos it and finds it back of the net.
Take a look at the stats from that first half, and you see, I mean, it's not a case of Flatirons lacking possession. They actually had more of it, but the shots, they never really found opportunities in the attacking half. Whenever they would break through, they were a bit hesitant or picked the wrong ball, and all of a sudden it was Omaha winning it back.
I think now what do they do in that final third for Flatirons is going to be the question, right? Because you see the possession, they're actually winning that battle, but now you need a possession with a purpose, especially in that final third. How clean can you be? More movement and more pressure on that back line, because there were spells for Holt, Milanese, and Coleman who were really quiet because they're very comfortable. So how do you make them a little bit more uncomfortable? First 5 minutes for Levi Rossi, extremely important.
See if they can make like Dennis Rodman and rebound in this second half. See if they can pull off one last cup set here in this first round. We saw one yesterday, we saw one on Tuesday, we saw a handful on Wednesday. That was the big cup set day. Winner of this gets Des Moines Menace in the next round on the road in Des Moines. Omaha left to right in the white, and Flatirons right to left in the blue. A couple of changes to get underway on the Omaha side from the break. Mark Bronick for Kemi Amish and Prosper Kasim for Mehdi Wamri.
For more information, visit bolero.com.
Amish, a bit of a spark in that first half. Wamri didn't really find much of it. See if Prosper Kasim, one of their big offseason acquisitions, can showcase himself here. All-time appearance leader at Birmingham Legion. Last couple of years, key influential player for Tom Sohn in that Birmingham Legion squad. No yellow cards to recall from that first half. A couple of close calls, but no cards doled out. Clean slate for both teams as we begin the second half now with Omaha up 1-0 on Flatirons. Glad to have you with us this evening as we round out the opening round of the 110th edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup with Ricky Lopez Espin and Joe Malfa.
Free kick, Union Omaha.
Good there, good there. Hold it. Hold the line, we're good. Joseph, ready for the switch.
Going to be a good test for Union Omaha. How do you deal with the pressure that Flatirons is going to implement here? Because now they have to go out and chase the game a little bit in a different type of approach. So if you are one of the three center backs, you need to be really clean at breaking that initial line of pressure and decision-making, utmost importance.
Ball the Flatirons.
for Conchi. Sends it through the thin air here at altitude. Starting out in the possession again as they did in the first half. Flatirons, it slowly waned as Omaha grew into the happenings. You wonder what that conversation was like at the break. For a Flatirons side that is very much still in this. As you and I spoke about in the first half, it's when the amateur side gives up that second goal to the pro side where things do traditionally unravel. Until that point, they could continue playing the way they'd like to play, or I should say, until it gets too late, around 75, 80, you're going to have to open up, you're going to have to push, even if it is still just 1-0. But from now until then, they could continue playing the way they were in the first half, and that showed a couple of signs of life for Flatirons, and a free kick on the way.
I think the only adjustment is you need to be a little bit quicker when you do play positively, because so many times, whether it is a player like Scarth Smith, who's been really active joiner as well, they do bypass that midfield line of Union Omaha, but the second pass is always back. So you do all the hard work, go out and reward yourself, continue to play on their front foot, and continue to put some more pressure on this back line for Union Omaha.
Kasim wins it. Bronick. Whistle back behind the play. It's her first involvement for Mark Bronick, who scored the winning penalty last year in the shootout against El Paso. Before Omaha went on to lose to Sporting Kansas City in the round of 32.
So Gallardo comes in a bit awkwardly, a heavy touch. See for Donovan just snaps on Joe Gallardo. Not a lot of contact, but does not feel nice. If you are Joe Gallardo.
Floated in, Bronick there, just over his head. 18-year-old from Brooklyn, Mark Bronick, joined this Omaha Academy, came up to the youth system, and now starting to find his way out of the field in a more prominent role for the first team. I enjoyed how this year the opening of Open Cup coincided with March Madness, so truly madness all around here in our sport and on the basketball court. Remember, we started it first this year because we had it on Tuesday. They didn't start till yesterday.
So we are the real March Madness?
I mean, I wouldn't argue that.
Who wins March Madness and who wins the Open Cup?
I mean, that's a loaded question for Open Cup just because there's teams who don't come in yet. There's
October 1st.
I know, you're trying to pull an answer out of me. I'm going to pull one out of you, too. I got to look at the teams coming in from MLS again. I got to take a look. Off the top of my head, I don't recall which teams are exempt and which aren't, so I'll take a peek. To answer the other question, I got Auburn this year.
Auburn?
Auburn.
Okay.
You're going with Creighton, I assume?
No. I think Florida.
Oh, we're really SEC bias in this room, huh?
I don't know much about basketball, but I've heard they're the most complete basketball team.
It's possible. All right, I've taken my look at the teams from MLS. This one looped in over the top here, and it's out for a Flatirons corner. I will say among the MLS teams, I think that Greg Berhalter Chicago side, with some of the young talent they have a history in this tournament. It'll be their easiest avenue into the next edition of Champions Cup, and they will take it very seriously and be dangerous. I also do believe a USL Championship team will make the final again this year.
That's
I think
funny.
that there's a really good grouping of teams from USL Championship, whether it's a New Mexico United or a Louisville City or even like a Detroit City, who always typically does well in this tournament. I think there's a strong group of USL Championship teams. One team makes a run to the final. We'll continue this in a second. Let's see if Flatirons can make a comeback here. Lofted in from the corner. Comes all the way through. You and I can go on that conversation all night. Comes all the way back for Jackson. Getting in field here. Number still forward after the corner. Joyner. Can they get a ball in the box? Now curled in. Headed away by Coleman. Joyner recovers.
Continue to put pressure on Omaha.
Lofted in, Jensen has it, and that'll do it.
But those are moments, Joe, that if you are Flatirons FC, continue to put pressure, cause a little bit of chaos and confusion, because who knows what happens once the ball is in the dangerous area. So every set piece for the remainder of this game from about 45 yards in, I would expect Flatirons just to put it right on top of that 6-yard box and really test Jensen.
So you, Open Cup, October 1st, what we got?
It's funny, I obviously chatted with Flatirons about this, and I do think Chicago, I think that Greg Berhalter, I think with his obviously experience and cup competition, albeit, yeah, I think Ryan Gutierrez will have something to say, and then I gave you Florida.
Okay. Yeah, I do think the USL Championship team, again, makes it this year to the final, as we saw Sacramento in 2022. And as we saw last year with Indy 11 making a semifinal. It's becoming more of a regularity seeing those teams make it that far. But yeah, when the dust settles, I expect one of those quote-unquote second-tier MLS teams. I don't mean to diminish them in any way, but I don't think anybody's picking Chicago Fire or Nashville to win MLS Cup this year. But those are teams that are good enough to go on a run and win this tournament and use that as their avenue into a CONCACAF Champions Cup. Question could be, will there be a third division side that makes a deep run again? This Omaha side did a couple of years ago in their first ever Open Cup in 2022. They made it to the quarterfinals, lost to Sporting Kansas City there.
Free kick, Union Omaha.
It's becoming more and more regular for the second division sides to do well. And don't forget, we're a couple of years away from calling some of those USL Championship teams first division sides. That was big news from the offseason between last Open Cup and this one. USL announcing a first division league on the way, announcing this past week that Pro-Rel is on the horizon. This past week we had the information come out that Open Cup's prize purse doubled. Good time for soccer in the U.S. Not for the U.S. after last night's loss to Panama, but in the U.S. Continuing to build upon their possession advantage now, Flatirons, but what can they do with it in the attacking half when they get here? 10 minutes into the second half, they've had the ball 70% of the time in this second half. Omaha looking to counter. Kasim, overlap from Gallardo. Mark Bronick put his hand up, he wanted the long ball. Gallardo gets to the end line now. Gallardo, stonewalled there defensively, well done.
Just too long from Joe Gallardo just to make a decision. Kasim picks up the ball in a central position, go out and attack it, take that first touch towards goal. As you let it come across your body, you're just playing into the hands of Scarth to close it down. Little things like that make a massive difference between getting a shot on net or having to circulate the ball yet again.
Kasim. Schneider looking for Bronick, cut out by Andrews.
Free kick Flatirons.
Well, one of the unfortunate things, I guess, for this Open Cup, just the way things broke out with the teams participating. LAFC cannot defend their title. Exempt from Open Cup this year, the new system, because they're in Champions Cup. The LAFC 2 side is in it, though. They're MLS Next Pro Club, and they dominated their opening round of play. LAFC cannot defend their crown. Awkward challenge there.
Free kick Union Omaha.
Junior in on it, and now we will see our first car of the evening. It had been a while. Referee been letting these teams play. Orland Jr. picks it up.
One thing you want to see a little bit more of from Flatirons is just the willingness to run in behind this back line. Mentioned it in the first half. Everything has been in front of the defensive unit of Union Omaha. Makes life very easy for them because all they need to do is just step in and shift to either side. Ask any defender what's a nightmare is when you have to turn and face your own net. So if you are Levi Rossi, the message to your front line is go out and run in behind. Make them step off a little bit deeper. That's when you can play in front of them. Just a bit too predictable for the amateur side this far. Good ball.
To the end line, looking for Bronick. Cut out again defensively. Andrews out for a corner.
For Union Omaha, the yellow card was issued to number 10, Orland Jr. for Flatirons FC. That took place in the 58th minute.
Gallardo in swinger. Again, it's Andrews getting to it first. Can Flatirons break out here? All those numbers committed forward for Omaha. And that's been the story of the night. Pass a little bit off target. Momentum slows down. Yes, it's a foul. Yes, it's yellow on Martinez. But another one of those what could have been moments in the buildup.
Yeah, that's when you need one of your players to have a little bit of personality, just to check over their shoulder, continue to push the envelope. There's no need to try to return this pass if you are Joyner. Let it run across your body, continue to run. You close out the momentum, trailing to run. Martinez catches a Flatirons player and sees yellow.
Gone, half hour remains. Omaha holding on to a 1-0 lead. Neither side has really had any terrific opportunities here in this second half. Interesting portion of the match here for both of these teams. At what point, if you're Flatirons, do you start opening up more, looking for something to try and level this game? You only have one shot in this one. It was on target, but albeit off a deflection the expected goals tally is .01 for Flatirons. So through 62 minutes, no chances truly created. You and I were talking about earlier that balance between committing more numbers forward, but leaving yourself vulnerable to concede that second goal. If you're Flatirons, you're getting into that territory now where you have to do that calculus and figure out when to open up, when to go for it. As Bailey Rouse comes in off the bench. Rouse replaced Orland Jr. Cooper Johnson replaced Yusuf Adan. So maybe here with these subs is an indication from Levi Rossi that he is going forward a bit more.
Free kick, Flatirons. One going to go, number 11, Cooper Johnson, and number 8, Danny Barajas.
Pardon me, Danny Barajas on for Orland Jr. Isidro Martinez just came off now for Omaha as Dom Casiato looks to counter with another sub of his own. Brandon Knapp enters.
Look out in the crowd as number 15, Brandon Knapp, has come in for Union Omaha.
On the flip side of that conversation we're having about Flatirons, you know Omaha is just waiting and waiting to pounce on the moment that Flatirons do open up to find that second and put this to bed.
You and I always talk about fitness in a game like this, an amateur versus a pro side. We talk about fitness, and obviously heavy legs start to play a factor. And when those heavy legs start to come to the forefront, mental lapses as well. Not being able to rotate over, giving your opposition much more time and space than usual. And it's when those instances that Union Omaha, which is a fitter of the two teams, can really make you pay. So yes, you have to find the right balance if you are Flatirons of being compact and not letting a second goal go in, but also having to go out and chase the game and try to find a goal.
Played in behind for Gallardo. Very physical from Gallardo. For a goal kick.
This will be a goal kick.
Scarth just behind Cooper Johnson. It's really been the issue when they get to the attacking third. Flatirons, they're making the runs, they're finding the spaces, but the ball has just been askew, or it hasn't come at the right time. It's just been that last puzzle piece lacking. offside, and it's again
Exactly, just
something just
Offside,
missing in this
Flatirons,
case.
free
It's the
kick
timing
to
again.
Omaha.
But also the second time movement. Joyner comes in and is part of the build-out phase, so that's when you need a player like Smith or Johnson to occupy the center backs and at least give some sort of presence in around the 18-yard box.
Just over 20 minutes into the second half. There hasn't been a single shot in this half yet. Neither side really finding anything. Quick off the turnover, though. Could change here. Joyner chipping it through. Again, right run into space. Ball off target. It's just that last missing link for Flatirons. They're oh so close to it. These fans on their feet can feel it.
Goal
Still
kick.
only down 1-0.
Zarian Van Zone is a cutting-edge
They're
platform
running out of
for
time.
sports clubs to create a digital ecosystem tailored to their community's needs. With a wide array of engagement features, including ticketing and a live match center, clubs can now connect with their fans in a more personalized and interactive way.
Another killer's play out of the back. Joyner picks it up. Over to Smith. Goes for goal, and it's just over the bar.
Try hard by Smith. Goal kick is we invite you to check out Azarian.com.
Been really impressed with Smith, his ability just to strike a ball. We've seen it from set pieces. It's that second touch to get out of his body, and he does not miss by much. Hits it really well. Hopefully that gives a bit of life to the Flatiron side.
Perhaps it wakes up Omaha and showcases the importance of the insurance goal here as they go the other way. Off the foot, that one looked good for Smith. Just always rising in the end.
Free kick, Flatirons.
I think he heard you, Joe. No shots in the second half. Smith says, why not have a go? Almost gets his reward.
Tell you what, if this wasn't a match being played at altitude, that one might have been a goal. I think the altitude might have taken that one with it. And Cole Jensen had no chance at it. He just stood there, looked at it. That's one of those as a goalkeeper where you're just going to watch that and hope it doesn't hit the net.
Getting really aggressive. That's Milanese, your center back. He's in line with Bronick. So you have to think Dominic Asciato is giving his back line a little bit of freedom of stepping off of their line. There's nothing.
Free kick, Union Omaha.
Unless there was a handball that popped up as the ball ricocheted awkwardly. I'm with you. I don't think there was a foul in there. Bronick feeds it through for Kasim. A little bit too far wide. Can he recover? Kasim, it's blocked. A shout for a handball, and it's given. Oh, that's such poor luck for Flatirons, and it could be what Omaha needs to put this out of reach.
It's a heavy ball in from Bronick. You need to lead Prosper Kasim into the box, not away from goal. But fortunate for Flatirons right there, the extension of the right arm for Van der Veen. That gets him in trouble.
So a PK on the
Clear
road
handball.
for Union Omaha.
What a chance it is for Joe Gallardo and Union Omaha to double their lead.
I mean, letter of the law, yeah, but that's a
You
tough
have-
one.
you don't call it? You have to call it.
have to. That's just such a tough way for this to go if Omaha is able to convert and extend this lead to 2. He's running away. There's no white jersey around him. He just misread it and overran it. It's the unluckiest of penalties to concede, but a penalty nonetheless. Gallardo to double Omaha's lead. Gallardo puts it away with effect. No chance for Conchi, and the Owls may be flying into the second round.
Coming in the 73rd minute for Gallardo.
Just want you to watch the right arm or Vendervent. There's a lot of English on it. It's away from his body. Clear contact. You have to call it if you are the referee. And Joe Gallardo, the ability to hit a dead ball with venom. Conchi guesses the right way. Just too much pace. Too much precision. Great goal.
And now, 17 minutes to play and a 2-goal deficit. That's when you expect Flatirons to have to come out, and it's where you typically see the pro sides set up shop in the attack.
I have to think this plays into favor of a player like Prosper Kassim. The ability to go out and run with his directness, his fresh legs. So number 10 for Union Omaha can have his say at the end of this game.
Down for Flatirons. Raymond Jackson. Back to the penalty for a moment. It's just such a tough way to see Flatirons go down by 2 and in all likelihood to put this game out of reach. It's, again, like you said initially, it's a penalty, but it didn't impact any attack. It didn't stop an attack. He's coming away from it. If you're a player in that situation, there's the letter of the law and there's sort of the reality of the game. If you're a player in that situation, I guess if you're in the attack, you're saying penalty, penalty, penalty. But if you're on the Flatirons side, what's going through your mind in a moment like that?
Okay, but you have, I will play devil's advocate there. If that happens in the central part of the field, it's a handball.
Right.
It's a foul. Handling
100%.
the ball. You're not allowed to touch the ball with your hand. You have to call it. Right? Like, it's unfortunate, yes, but unfortunately, it doesn't matter if it's fortunate, unfortunate, it's a handball. You have to call it if you're the referee.
Happened here. Jackson awkwardly coming down. Jabronic ran through the challenge. No foul called, clean play, just an awkward fall for Jackson as he's gingerly helped off the field.
You have your referee license.
The injury timeout.
I actually let it lapse.
No
longer licensed, Ricky.
Stop, Joe.
So whenever you and I have these conversations, you have to start it with former
former referee Joe Malfa. Do you call that a pen?
I do, and that's why I'm saying, like, I agree with you. It's just the laws of the game versus the human side of the game.
Yeah.
He didn't prevent an attack. There was nothing about that suggests that he intentionally made himself bigger to prevent cynically the opposing team from scoring or having a chance. He was running away in the backspin. It caught him in the hand while he was in his running motion. It's a penalty, but it's just it's one of those where, unfortunately, it's the operating word, like you said.
When do you renew it?
I did it. I'm done.
You're done. No more.
Done.
Doing broadcasting full time, huh?
It's kind of working out, you know.
Okay.
I get to spend time with you, and
Say it with a positive attitude.
Still on lasted. Picked up some good recipes from fans. That's something that they don't tell you in a refereeing school. Run up and down the sideline doing kids games. You hear parents talking about things. Picked up a great recipe one time for root beer, pulled pork in a crock pot.
What?
It's great.
You're sneaky. You like to listen to people's conversations.
I mean, you're sitting there sometimes, if you're doing like a U14 game and one team is significantly better than the other, you're an assistant referee, you're parked out at midfield if the attack's at the other end. You either go insane or you listen to the conversations. And I chose the latter. Put the pork in the crock pot. You pour a whole can of root beer in there, some barbecue sauce,
Watch out.
other ingredients. There's some barbecue sauce on the spin on that ball. Took it right into the path of the oncoming attacker, Aaron Gomez, who scored the opening goal. Flatirons recovers, but you're going to see more of that now as they have to open up. Flatirons looking for 2 goals. It feels like there's a third in the offing for Omaha. Van der Ven. Smith. Hamilton opens up.
Just continues to break down for Flatirons. 12 plus remaining. Yes, you want to stay true to your game model, but now it's all about efficiency. Cup competition, you lose, you're done. Just continue to play direct. Try to draw fouls in around that 18-yard box. Try to win second balls and claw yourself into this match. Because yes, we've been impressed with how comfortable they are on the ball, especially in the middle third of this field. But no real threat to this back line and goalkeeper of Union Omaha.
Difficult ball back for the keeper. Great touch by Country, and he dribbles through. The end product play out left something to be desired, but good job by the goalkeeper to make something out of what could have been a dire situation.
Flatirons making a sub.
Smith, nice run down the wing, kept it in play. And then Coleman cuts him off. Good veteran play again by Coleman. He hasn't had to do a ton tonight, but he's come up big in the moments.
It's a Creighton defender right there. But Smith has been a bright spot for Flatirons, and notice the way that Brent Coleman is forcing him away from goal, and once that touch is long, that's when he impedes his run. Cuts down the angle, feels any sort of contact, he goes down. Fantastic individual defending from Brent Coleman.
Flatirons looking direct again over the top. Here comes Casiato. In charge of this Union Omaha side. Certain positives to bring out of this one tonight, but it's not exactly like Omaha's really lit things up in the attack. I mean, the goal they scored, they get the ball into a dangerous area, which is key. in the aftermath of that, Flatirons can't clear their lines. Gomez blasts one home. And then you get that very, very fortunate penalty as Bronick will pick up a yellow card here. So they really haven't exactly lit things up themselves in the attack. Fortunate to be up 2-0 after losing 3-0 in their opener.
Tough challenge here from Holt, stepping out of his center back role. But that's been a theme. Him and Milanese have the freedom just to step into that middle third and provide a little bit more coverage. But like you said, Joe, I agree with you. If you're Dominic Gasciato, yes, you have a 2-0 lead, but it hasn't been really convincing. You haven't really played Flatirons off of the park. Credit to the amateur side, they've showed their own. And they can score this, make it a bit interesting.
Free kick does bounce through. High boot against Omaha. Try to take it quickly. Probably better off that the referee stops this one because that's a really good spot to actually set up for a free kick instead of going quickly. And the ball was too strong. So Flatirons really bailed out by the referee. It almost looks like Luke Smith has his position. If he wants to go for a goal. They're not really setting up as if they're thinking about something else here. Now they will gather. Perhaps it is a service from Smith. Well, he snatched the ball right away. He looked like somebody who was poised to strike it. Smith clips it in. Header toward the back post. There's one back. Flatirons have a pulse.
From this angle, you always have to play for the second action. Really well done initially, but Andrews, he's there at the back post to follow it. It's all about getting to the mark and beating his individual defender. Great goal from Flatirons. And now they make this interesting.
Think they'd rather have that than whatever that quick free kick was that the referee stopped because the ball was still in motion? And just before that high boot that led to that, I was just about to ask you, it's out the window now, I was just about to ask you, this Omaha team gave up 3 goals in their opener and a 3-0 loss. Perhaps some of the lackluster effect in their attacking end today is because they overcorrected and were just looking to be buttoned up defensively. And right on cue, they have another miscue defensively, similar to their season opener, losing 3-0. Well, now they've let Flatirons back into this game. And if not for a very fluky penalty, we could be talking about a 1-1 game right now.
This goes back to what you and I have been talking about all 86 minutes. Yes, Union Omaha, they're professional, they're well-oiled machine. They know exactly the identity, who they want to be in all phases of the game. But still, through the run and play, it looks like a team that's only played 1 competitive match, which they have. Not as sharp as we come to expect, not as clean as you would think a reigning USL League One champion side would be. So it's going to be really interesting just to see the momentum for Flatirons for the remainder of this game.
It's a difficult start to the season as well for Union Omaha, occupying the same field as a minor league baseball team. There are stretches of their schedule where they purposely book the minor league baseball team to be home. And as a result, Omaha has a lengthy road stretch. So they started on the road at Greenville. They're on the road here. They're on the road against Tormenta, at Richmond, at New Mexico, at Madison. They don't play a home game until May 10th. And within that schedule as well, they have a couple of off weeks. So Omaha, it's a rocky start to the schedule between breaks and trips on the road. It's tough to sort of get into gear. And that's really been the story tonight as well. There's been moments, but tough to get into gear and never really put this game away. Have a chance to do that now, maybe by restoring a 2-goal lead off this set piece. Good delivery and open players there, but a foul in the build-up. Samuel Scarth was brought down
on a free kick.
Right side of your screen, Schneider and Scarth are going. Clear push from Schneider. Knows exactly what he's doing right in front of our referee. It's a good call.
Awkward one back to Jensen. He just clears it. 3 to play, plus what could be a few minutes of stoppage time. The Flatirons have another one in them to send this to extra time.
Free kick, Flatirons.
Unofficially told there will be 3 minutes of added time. So if that doesn't change, Flatirons have 5 minutes from this very moment
Good
to find
math.
that leveler.
Good math, Joe.
Remember what I said earlier about you being nice to me? It didn't last the whole game.
Watch out.
Flicked on. Barajas. That's why you shouldn't have rounded up back in the 34th minute where you said 35 minutes of being nice to you. You made it 88, not 89.
Free kick,
I'm
Union Omaha.
complimenting you. I'm saying that was good math.
It's all in the tone, Ricky. Seconds remaining in the 90 minutes. Again, told there'll be 3 added minutes. So, Ricky, that makes 4.5 minutes remaining. And Flatirons would like to find the equalizer. Their first ever Open Cup. One of the 9 USL 2 sides invited to this year's edition. Didn't have to come through a formal qualifying. They made the quarterfinals of the Western Conference playoffs in USL 2 last year after they topped the Mountain Division at 8-1-3. Hosting a Union Omaha side, reigning champions of USL League One. They did the double last year as the Players' Shield winners in the regular season as well. 3 times they've won the Players' Shield, twice the championship. And looking to restore a 2-goal lead, played in, back post. Nobody there to tap it home, and out for a goal kick.
Through and out untouched to GK.
Minutes of stoppage time confirmed. You hear some of the fans a bit exasperated that it's only 3 minutes. Can Omaha hold on? Can Flatirons produce some March Madness of their own here in Open Cup? Free kick on the way for Flatirons. Score on the last one.
Just no need if you're Kasim. Maybe a bit of frustration not having the impact that he would have hoped since coming onto this pitch. As you push a Flatirons player, now you give them the opportunity yet again just to cause some confusion and chaos. Desired location is right between that 6-yard box and penalty mark.
Smith, the free kick, puts it in that dangerous area. Oh, it's exactly where you would have liked to see that ball go. Now Kasim the other way. Plays it out ahead. It'll roll out of play.
I told you, Smith, he had quality from set pieces. Had that shot from distance not too long ago as well. He's been a player that has made his case for Flatirons.
Omaha looking to put this one away to the end line. Took a deflection and out for a corner. See how much time they can kill now down in the corner. No, pardon me. The assistant referee did pop the flag late for an offside. Center referee didn't notice it, pointed to the corner. Now gets the acknowledgement of the offside flag. So a minute to go for Flatirons to get it up the field and find a leveler. Fans begging for another minute to be tacked on now. Some of the time wasted in stoppage time. Could be the last chance for Flatirons. Sent long off the offside kick. And a foul against Flatirons. That may do it.
Yellow card to the bench of Union Omaha.
A minute beyond stoppage now. Flatirons found a late goal to make it interesting. But will they have a chance to tie it? The referee's discretion now. Omaha bench begging for a whistle. And there is the final whistle. After 4 days and 32 games, we finally have a fully filled out round 2 in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. It'll be Union Omaha going on to take on Des Moines Menace in a couple weeks' time.
Wasn't all that convincing for Union Omaha, but in a cup competition, you get the job done and you advance. So if you're Dominic Casciato, yes, there's a lot of things that you need to work on, but ultimately, you secured your goal, you advanced into the second round, but Joe, give credit to Flatirons. They fought, they showed some quality, but not enough as Union Omaha advances.
If you really look at it from a broad view as we show you the highlights, Flatirons had a lot of the better play in this game, especially with the ball at their feet, but it's Omaha who gets it done.
And I'd argue they were the better side between both boxes, but what really matters, especially in a do-or-die situation, is what happens in both boxes. And that's exactly what Union Omaha excelled at. Gomez hits it extremely well, just thumps this thing, no chance for Conchi. And Union Omaha, they get their opening goal, and then this is just so unfortunate. It's an uh-oh moment. The arm is away from the body of Van der Ven, and Joe Gallardo, venom with that pen, really well taken from the experienced player for Union Omaha, but you knew Flatirons was going to make it a little bit interesting. Gets the initial ball in, it's a head back across to find the back of the net, but too little too late as they fall 1-2.
They really did have some good moments in this one. They should leave Flatirons with their chins up high in their first ever U.S. Open Cup, but they come up just short here tonight. So again, it's Omaha going through. Second round will take place April 1st and April 2nd, just a couple of weeks away. You can go to U.S. Open Cup's website to find all those matchups that are now set. We only had one more to be determined, and it's Omaha going through to take on Des Moines Menace. It's been a fun opening week here in Open Cup. The broadcast crew that makes this happen, and my partner Ricky Lopez-Espin, I'm Joe Malva saying so long for now. We missed ya. It was a long off season that is finally done, and we're back in a couple of weeks for the second round of the 110th edition of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Good night, everybody.